Hello, friends. This is Pastor Jeff from First Calvary Baptist Church of North Andover, Massachusetts. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I wanted to come to you for a few minutes today and let you know about an interesting experience I had and the thoughts that I had based on that. We've been away on vacation, my wife and I, and we'd finished the first week visiting family out in St. Paul, Minnesota. It was a wonderful trip. And we got back and we were in between. We were just having a day when we weren't doing much of anything before the next part of the vacation began. And suddenly I had this strange feeling. It crept over me and part of my mind jolted, panicky, and asked, what is that? What is this strange thing that I am feeling? And a deeper, calmer part of my mind answered, well, you're relaxed. And I couldn't remember the last time I had truly felt relaxed. Have you ever had that experience? It gets kind of weird. And so I thought we could talk about this for a minute. When was the last time you were relaxed? More importantly, do any of us really relax at all these days? Now, in Matthew, Chapter 6, verses 30 through 32, the disciples are going all over the place, and they have been out teaching, and they're reporting back to Jesus on all that they have done, and Jesus is concerned because he notices that they are doing so much coming and going, so much business that they have no time for leisure. They are so busy they haven't even stopped to eat. And he says, you all need to come away with me in a boat. We're going to go to a deserted place, and we're going to rest for a little bit. We're going to relax. And, well, Jesus is very concerned about their health. And he calls them away to this secluded place where they can get something to eat, have a snack and a nap, and we'll find out that that idea is very biblical. We're going to return to that. Jesus regularly slipped away to secluded places all by himself. Take a look at Mark 1:35, where he goes out to pray alone. And when his ministry got too popular for him to go into town, he'd go out into the deserted places and have people meet him there. And a secluded spot that we're talking about here, this is not deep wilderness we're talking about. No, this is like your local state park or your city park, where it's a nice place to relax. And unfortunately for Jesus, everybody knew the place he was taking his disciples to, and they beat him there. He was going by boat, they went by land, and they got there before him. But that's another story. That's beside the point. Jesus says to his disciples, you're running yourselves ragged, and he insists you need to have a rest. And that applies to us too. In fact, I learned to take advantage of the opportunities to relax from watching our children. I'm not one to believe in the kids these days dismissal of children. I believe we can learn a lot from our kids. And I noticed that if they had 5 minutes before some scheduled event, they'd take that time to read a little something, watch a little something, play a little something, grab a portable snack and eat that while they did it. In other words, they found a way to relax. And I checked with the health professionals, and they say the kids were right. We need to do something pleasant while we're resting if we're really going to relax. Work a puzzle, read a book, listen to music or a audiobook. So go for a short walk. God has blessed us with great many ways in which we can relax. And we often forget to do so, and pastors are particularly bad about this, and we know better. We've got scripture that talks about it, that we've read, we're familiar with it, and still we don't relax. And we know it is bad for us not to relax. Our friends at the Cleveland Clinic, the doctors there, will warn you, if you don't rest, you won't be able to think straight. You won't be able to make good decisions. You will have trouble remembering things. You'll become anxious and depressed. Your skin is going to look bad. Can you imagine that? You're just going to look bad. You'll feel dehydrated. You can develop heart conditions, gain weight, get sick much more easily. So for heaven's sakes, get some relaxation in. And if we don't eat right, like the disciples there, we can become anxious, we can lose our energy, we can begin to crave all sorts of snacks. And you know what I'm talking about, the really bad stuff, the chocolate-covered baked goods that are just so tempting when you're tired. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, but let's stop there because it can get really frightening, and you get the idea. You know what I'm talking about. Jesus doesn't want a bunch of sick and angry, worried, sleepy, dehydrated, forgetful disciples who can't make a decision. So he needs them to get some rest. And if we needed another reason, if you're not yet convinced that you need to relax, well, did you know that relaxing is in the Ten Commandments? It really is. Imagine that Cecil B. DeMille scene where God, with that deep bass voice and the fiery finger, is putting the commandments on the stone as Moses cringes and watches from a distance. And he gets to verses 8 through 11. And he reminds them that there is a Sabbath day. There is a day when you are going to rest. God did it, and you should too. And he gets very specific about it. He says that you're going to have this Sabbath for you, for your son and your daughter, your male and female servants, your livestock, the alien residents in your town. You are all going to rest, and God knows us and knows we need it, and God means it. It's right there in the Ten Commandments. Men and women, rest. Your kids, rest. Your staff, rest. All those who are visiting from somewhere else, you rest too. Your livestock, rest. All y'all, rest. God created a system in which he knows we need to relax, and God commands us to do so. When we're tired, when we're not eating, when we're not relaxing, we'll stamp our feet and cry out, "I'll rest when I'm dead." Not really good decision-making going on there. We're making things hard on ourselves when we really don't need to. We need to take the time to relax. Ecclesiastes 3 says, "For everything there is a season, and a time for every matter under heaven, a time to weep, and a time to laugh, a time to mourn, and a time to dance, a time to relax." In 1 Kings 19, the prophet Elijah, well, he's having a bad time. He has angered Queen Jezebel, and she wants him dead. In fact, she says by the end of the day, he's going to be dead or I will. So Elijah takes off. He flees, fearing for his life. He gets to Beersheba and he leaves his servant there, and he goes on alone, a day's journey, and he is beat. And he sits down under a lone broom tree, and he says to God he just wants to die. He's so exhausted. "It is enough now, O Lord, take away my life." Then he lays down and he falls asleep. And suddenly he is awoken by an angel who says, "Get up and eat." And he discovers that there, right by his head, is a cake baked on a hot stone just for him and a jar of water. He eats and he drinks and he lays down again. And the angel of the Lord wakes him up again, and he eats and he drinks some more. And now he's ready for a journey. And he goes on a 40-day journey to get to Mount Horeb, the mountain of God. Now, can you imagine? Have you ever thought of an angel who brings you cake, warm cake to eat, water, and asks you to take a nice nap, to relax? And Elijah does this twice over, and it chases his blues away. He's ready to go for 40 days. We should follow that example. Throughout the Old and the New Testaments, we are called to relax, to get a nap, to take that snack, to spend some time doing something that we like to do. And then we'll feel better, we'll look better, we'll think better. Well, we'll be better selves, we'll be better us, we'll be better human beings. If you need to, if you want to, you can pray to God. God is, after all, our best friend and really wants us to be well. God's always ready for a conversation. And when we do all this, we'll feel the tension diminish, the muscles relax, the headache go away, and our worries just float off into the distance, for at least a time. Psalm 46 calls us to be still and know that I am God. Matthew 11:19 tells us, the Son of Man came eating and drinking. And since we are Christ's followers, we should do the same, enjoying life in its season, relaxing for our own good and for the good of others. Jesus also invites us in Matthew 11, come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Let us all accept that invitation together and enjoy the lovely weekend that lies ahead. I wish you all a relaxing day. God bless you all, and we'll talk again later. So long for now, friends.